Welcome to See You in the Lobby, extremely after dark edition. Marissa, are you in bed?
I'm in bed. I couldn't make it out to do this.
The things we will do for content, yo, that game was everything we wanted it to be, and then some. I cannot believe any of what we just watched.
I'm so glad it lived up to the hype. That was one for the ages, and Caitlin Clark is unreal. She put that team on her back, and I can admit when I didn't see a 41-point game coming. I didn't. I thought South Carolina's size and defense was going to be too much for her, but she just proved that she can score at every level. But what was most impressive, she controlled the entire game. No matter what defensive look South Carolina threw at her, she was finding the right person. What goes super underrated about her game is she always makes the right play. I've never seen a superstar or a player that can score the way she can that doesn't force their shots. She might have a couple heat checks here and there, but it's literally everything is within the flow of the game.
And the heat checks don't even feel that much like a heat check. Like you're like, well, she's hit those kind of routinely.
Yeah.
I mean, she was so impressive the entire game. I think it also showed in like the 2 minutes that she sat, where it felt like, we can't let her sit that long. Can't let her sit that long. She was really doing everything. I think the halftime graphic was what she had 82% of Iowa's offense, and I think she finished the game with 75% of all points scored or assisted for Iowa. But exactly what you're saying. South Carolina is known to be an elite defensive team, like an all-time defensive team, and even they couldn't figure out really what to do with her. She was closing out, even on closeout, she found ways to dribble by bigs. She was finishing shots around the rim. She was taking the step back threes we're accustomed to. Like that was a signature Caitlin Clark game, and it's so impressive knowing the stakes, knowing the amount of people that were watching, knowing that she knew coming into this she was going to get the hardest defensive plan probably of her entire life. I am blown away by her entire performance.
She wanted that. Like you
Wanted it.
I,
Wanted it.
she's been wanting a chance because now it like stamps. It stamps her.
This
You put up 41 on the defending national champs, the undefeated team,
Yep.
and one of the best
She
defensive teams. I can't. I don't think too many people called what happened tonight.
she's
I
a,
don't think they thought it
she's a
was.
basketball sicko. Caitlin Clark is a basketball sicko. Stamped.
Yeah, I don't think anybody called what happened tonight. And I mean credit to Iowa's entire team for executing their game plan. You know, the freshman that came in, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, but she came in and gave them quality minutes and she doesn't play much this season. And Cesano, I didn't think she was going to be able to do much because of her, and I don't want to say inability, but just because of having Clark always putting the ball right where she needs. She didn't have to make a lot of moves and dribble a lot. So I thought South Carolina's size was really going to affect her, and she still had a great game. And I credit Clark. Clark makes her the entire team better. When you talk about elite superstars that make their teammates better, she needs to be in that conversation.
Unbelievable. And I mean, on the other end, Aliyah Boston got a bad whistle, like a really bad whistle in that first half. I think maybe all three of her first half fouls were all garbage. And that definitely affected the flow of South Carolina a little bit in the beginning. Camila Cardoso, amazing. Played a really solid game, but obviously not having Aliyah Boston for the minutes she usually plays in that first half had to have played a factor. Like no shade to Iowa. I mean, they won that game, but whistle felt bad, did it not?
The whistle did feel bad, but honestly, Iowa controlled that entire game from tip to the final buzzer. Um, they gave Clark a head of steam too early in the game. Like she's too good. So they're denying her the inbound pass. But Iowa's guards they're not just some scrubs. They're good solid basketball players, so they can still handle that.
Yeah.
And then they get it to her, and her one of her favorite things to do is to go downhill, and you can't stop her. They executed their game plan. They packed the paint. And
It felt disrespectful at times, but it was a great plan, and we'd said it before, right? And we got a couple of people being like, "What do you mean South Carolina can't shoot?" And obviously, we
please, everybody who did that, we need apologies.
and again, that doesn't mean that nobody on South Carolina can make a 3-point shot. It just means in general, their weakness is that they aren't great at shooting threes. And Iowa took that to an absolute extreme and dared them to shoot. And shout out Raven Johnson, who in the first half, I mean, Clark literally waved her off and said, "Good luck, have fun." She did hit 3 threes in the second half, which was big. I mean, I didn't see that coming. But still, the defensive plan still worked. So Iowa said, "All right, South Carolina, outshoot us." And they didn't.
And it's not even being able to shoot threes. They don't shoot the basketball well at all.
Yeah.
There was other times when they were within the 3-point line and they were still sagging off. So that's something that I honestly the past couple of years has been one of the only few knocks to South Carolina is their shooting ability. But hats off to South Carolina to go undefeated to go regular season undefeated
36 and
after
0.
winning the championship.
Big deal.
And I mean, it sucks. This is all everybody's going to remember is losing in the, semis after undefeated season. But to still do that, it's a great accomplishment. And they came up against a generational player who literally just willed her team to a win.
Did you? I don't know if you saw Marissa afterwards. They asked reporters asked Aliyah if she's going to declare for the draft, and she still said she hadn't made a decision.
I did see that.
Marissa, what are you thinking?
I'm not sure if she hasn't made the decision or if she just doesn't want to announce it yet. I would be here for her to come back for another season. One, that'd make next year's draft very, very interesting. But two, the potential to get a South Carolina Iowa matchup at some point next season. Sign me up.
Do you think you have feels on if she should do it or not?
I don't know. I mean, for me, if it was back my senior year, losing that game to Louisville, and I had a fifth year, I would have come back. I would have wanted a chance to have that storybook ending to my career, especially losing. We were upset. It wasn't a game we were supposed to lose, so wanting redemption, and we knew we were a Final Four team that year. So I don't know, honestly. And then you think NIL, it's not like she's gonna be missing out on making money because she has her NIL deal. So that's actually going to be pretty interesting to see what a lot of these players that have the extra year do, knowing that NIL is a thing.
And it's a really tight call. They only have a couple of days. I forget what the rule is. Maybe it's 48 hours or so after you lose. You have to make a decision. Like the draft is a week from Monday, April 10th. It is in 9 days after they played their last game. So
Yeah, she doesn't have much time to think about it. I don't know. I'm here for her to stay, but totally understand if she leaves. It's a great decision to have to make. I'm sure
100%.
it's tough and to only have like a split second to make the decision after losing such a hard game. But I would too because Aaliyah didn't play her best game. I wonder if that's going to factor into it.
So many things.
So I don't know.
So many things. I did want to briefly mention as well. There was another game tonight, Marissa.
There was another game.
I'm not sure if you saw it. However, LSU did win.
LSU did win, and I'm going to double down on what I said. And LSU fans, you can be in the comment. You can say I'm a hater, but I'm not. It's subjective, and LSU doesn't impress me. That doesn't mean they didn't deserve where they are. Like it still takes hard work. It's not easy to make it to a national championship game. So I'm not knocking that, but they don't impress me. I don't watch LSU and I'm not scared to play them. Like South Carolina, yes, even though they lost. Iowa, yes, because of Clark and how well they play. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. It's not saying anything bad. It's literally just a subjective opinion, and they don't impress me.
Yeah, which I think is also a difference between like you saying that they're making the championship isn't valid, that they're going through an easier schedule and an easier bracket isn't valid. They obviously didn't choose to have an easier bracket. They didn't choose for Indiana to lose early, but I think it's a valid opinion. I mean, this Iowa South Carolina game felt like truly felt like a championship game. So
And I'm so disappointed that I'm like tonight's the second semi game was great. Great for the game. Clark amazing. One of the main reasons I wanted South Carolina to win is because I wanted to see that South Carolina LSU matchup again after the regular season.
It was ugly.
Because you look at that game,
It was ugly.
LSU was definitely unimpressive then. And then you look at their march in the tournament, like that Miami game was hard to watch. The game against Tech, you know, Tech, you some can argue that they beat themselves. So like I haven't seen from LSU yet just that convincing like we're here win.
If
I'm waiting to see that. So if they beat Iowa, I can't say anything.
you're gonna have to eat some shit if they beat Iowa.
Will I be impressed? I don't know. But just their style of play doesn't do it for me. And again, sorry LSU fans, you guys can come in my mentions and say I'm a hater and worse, but it's literally just an opinion.
All right, championship game prediction. What do you got? What? Not only who's going to win, but what is going to happen in that game?
I could see Clark doing some more out of world stuff. I don't know. She just seems to be getting better each game of the tournament. She gonna go for 50?
I don't think it's impossible. She just, I'm trying to remember the stat now. I think she's the second player ever to have back to back 40-point games, and that includes the men's tournament.
But only in women's. I thought I
I
saw.
think she's the only one in the
Okay.
women's tournament to do it, and she's definitely only the second women's player to drop 40 in a Final Four game, and the first being Cheryl Swoops.
I don't know. This is going to be a close one. What's really exciting is you had the South Carolina Iowa game where it's Boston versus Clark. Obviously, it's bigger than that, but those were the names. And now you have Reese versus Clark. It's nice to see where our game has grown, where you have these marquee players, these very visible players, and with social media, it creates this buzz. So I'm excited to see. I don't know. LSU tends to be undisciplined at times, and you see them get in foul trouble. I'm gonna go with Iowa though. I'm gonna go with Iowa shocking the world because nobody's no. I mean, where they already shocked the world beating South Carolina, but I'm gonna go with Iowa. Clark is just playing out of her mind. She's on another planet.
It would feel really odd for Iowa to pull off that huge win and then not win the whole thing, but it certainly is possible. But like you said, that game is still going to be massive. Like as big as tonight's game was, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are two of the game's biggest, not only stars on the court, but honestly on social media. Like everybody is talking about those two players. I feel like
Mhm.
the crowd is going to be crazy for that, but also everyone on social is going to be tuned in for it. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm still picking Iowa too. It's so hard not to after that game.
Yeah, it's hard not to the way Clark's playing. I don't know. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. There's some good matchups. Even Reese and Cesano, like that's going to be.
Yep.
And I was so disciplined. They impressed me so much tonight with how they executed their game plan. I don't know. I think the Stars are gonna do what they do. It's gonna be a good one.
I'm excited as hell. I'm also excited to see the numbers because this South Carolina Iowa game felt like a huge moment
And
for
yeah,
women's basketball. And I
there
say
was
that
folks tweeting about it that have never watched
100%.
women's basketball before.
100%. It just felt like a big turning point in women's basketball, period. I remember feeling this way after Enrique's back to back shots and all the attention that came after that. And not that there haven't been other stars who have had big moments, but this game in particular, getting to see the National Player of the Year against an undefeated team and then seeing an upset happen, it feels like a massive shift. Like I guarantee that women's basketball fans were made tonight.
Oh no, absolutely. I totally agree. And I even think there are more to be made with the championship game because now the news cycle the next couple of days is going to be all about Clark and her heroics and the upset. But then too, Angel Reese does have a big name out there in on social, like you said, and the storyline around LSU, they've crafted themselves with these underdogs all season. We haven't played anybody, and Kim Mulkey and her outfits, like LSU's kind of like the villain in this. If you think about it, it's like everybody's on Iowa's train right now because of Clark. LSU because of their antics on social media or Kim Mulkey in the media, her outfits, like they're kind of the villains, and I think they like that. So it's gonna be very very
Everyone's
interesting.
got strong feels. If you're watching that game, that championship game, you feel a certain way about everybody involved, which is great. I mean, that's what makes sport fun. So I'm fucking psyched.
I think I'm most excited to see what Kim Mulkey wears.
It could be anything. I'm more excited to see the memes about whatever Kim Mulkey wears.
Like, I need to know where her stylist finds her outfits.
Do you think she has one, or is it just her brain?
I think she has a stylist.
Amazing. I would want to know too. Someone should talk to whoever that stylist is.
Maybe they can style us for the show. Although I feel like LSU fans like wouldn't allow that.
Yeah, I don't think her stylist is hitting you up for anything.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm excited for Monday.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Thanks for listening to us talk at like almost 1 a.m. But this
And
was
my eyes
fun.
are like shutting.
We will see you after the championship game.